This is the OrcaTorch 570 GL, and it has a secret up its sleeve. In this video, I'm going to be going over the technical specs of this light and also going over my experience using this light for a couple lobster dives. And at the end, stick around to the end to figure out how you can win one of these.
Before we get into all of the technical specs of the light, here's what you can expect when you order the OrcaTorch D570 GL. First, you get your carrying pouch, similar to other action camera carrying pouches if you're familiar. Open it up, you get a nice molded section for your light and your battery. But first, you get a lanyard with a rubberized tube in the center to make it easier to come on and off your arm. USB to USB-C charger for your battery. Extra O-rings, 3 of them. You have your battery. This one has an integrated USB-C charger built into the battery. Next, of course, you have the main event, the light, D570 GL, and some paperwork. We have a warranty card, some information about other OrcaTorch products, and also a owner's manual. And that's everything you get when you order a D570 GL. So let's get into the specs of the OrcaTorch D570 GL. It's a 2-in-1 dive light designed for underwater illumination and signaling. It features 2 independent light sources, a 1500 lumen light for general visibility and a green laser light used for signaling. Both light sources can be operated independently with a side-mounted button. It does use the same button. The white beam provides wide illumination with a focused center hotspot. On land, the white beam reaches up to 281 meters, while the green light reaches up to 1,000 meters. Underwater, the green light remains highly visible and making it suitable for communication navigation in low visibility conditions. The D570 is powered by a rechargeable battery. Runtime is 1 hour and 51 minutes on white light and up to 3 hours and 36 minutes on green light, or the green laser. The battery level indicator displays remaining power. The light is depth rated to 150 meters and constructed from aircraft-grade aluminum with a corrosion-resistant hard anodized finish. It includes dual O-ring sealing, overheat protection, reverse polarity protection, and over-discharge protection. The lens is made of high-pressure resistant coated glass. The D570 measures approximately 134 millimeters in length and weighs 176 grams without batteries.
So with the tech specs out of the way, let me give you my experience using this light. So let me say, when I first got this from OrcaTorch, I was really excited to get it. One, because the size, I think it's a really good size. If I had to nitpick from my experience, I'll explain why in a bit. I wish it was slightly longer. I know that's a little strange when it comes to lobster diving, because usually you like something that's a little bit more compact, but I wish it was a little bit longer. I'll explain in a bit. But let me get back to why I was excited. I was excited because of the laser pointer. And the reason why that's important, for me at least, is usually I'm going out with dive buddies that I've been diving with for years, or sometimes newbies. And especially when it comes to low light visibility, and you want to point out a spot that you want your fellow diver to check out, or you just want to point it out for whatever reason. That laser pointer I thought was a great idea. My questions were, how is that going to perform in real life situations? So there's a lot of particulates in the water, usually, especially here in Southern California. Not as much as other places, I will say. Central Cal, NorCal, I'm looking at you. But there's still particulates in the water, and light, lasers, I'm not a laser expert, but I would imagine with enough particulates in the water, it'd be really tough to see over a reasonable distance. So that was my initial concern, but I was excited because I can point to specific holes, species, or perhaps like sometimes I see leopard sharks just because I think it's cool. and I want my dive buddies to see it with me. So what I'll usually do is just do that or that, and they have a general idea of where I'm pointing, but they never know exactly, and I thought this could fix it. And it does, for the most part. Now, let me get into that. So when it comes to the pointing, I found that it's very useful. I would say it's not a gimmick, it makes total sense, but there's limitations, of course, with anything. But let me give you my real world experience and my thoughts on the usability of the green laser on this. So when it comes to night diving, green laser, fantastic. Visibility, as far as your eye can see, probably whatever that viz is that day, it's not gonna have a problem performing at your visibility level. I had no problems during night dives, figuring out or pointing to my buddies where to go. I know it's hard to see on camera, but you can activate this light with the light on. And I know it seems kind of useless right now from what you're seeing probably, but at night you can see that laser pretty well. And I found it to be very useful when it comes to, especially lobster diving. I come up and I see a really good hole, but there's a hole on the other side of that cave where all the lobsters are. And what I want to do is perhaps tell my dive buddy, hey, you go down to that side and I'll go to this side, and we'll try to kind of close off that hole. So when we both reach in, one of us will hopefully grab some. So very useful for that. I loved it. It's great. And also to signaling to your dive buddies where you are. Obviously you don't want to shoot them in the eye, but if you want to just laser point around them, it's pretty nice. It goes a long way. So during the day though, the usability of this, from my experience, during the day, midday, this is pretty useful. Like you can see the laser pointer up until 10 feet, give or take. Obviously conditions depending, but generally speaking, I found 10 feet is about, you could still see the laser with relative ease, but anything beyond that, it's really tough to see. I would say you're better off just pointing at whatever you're gonna point at. So yeah, for on the surface, you're looking down 10 feet, I would say is probably the usable range for the laser. But when you're down there and you're looking for lobster, in my case, specific use case, not really a point. It's not very useful to have that laser once you're down there, because most of the pointing I would say is done when you're up at the surface with your dive buddies, or even if you're by yourself and you just want to explore a little bit. I found the laser to be pretty useless once you start, not useless, I don't find a use for it once I head down into kind of hunting mode, I guess, or trying to grab lobster. One other thing that I found to be pretty useful when it comes to daytime diving is lights, spook lobsters, especially this late in the season. It's currently January, but if they see any source of light like that, typically most lobsters will back off, or worst case, shoot it back into the cave, and you're pretty much not gonna get it. But I have used, I know this is counter to what I just said, by accident, I've used the laser instead when trying to look in a hole during the day. And I found it illuminates the cave just enough for me to see, and the lobsters don't seem to react to the laser. So I wouldn't use it as, I wouldn't count on it to be your, to be something that emits enough light for you to actually do anything with. But if you just wanted a gauge of, like, generally speaking, the lobsters in this general area without spooking it, you could use that laser function during the day. But overall, very happy with the laser function. So when it comes to the actual dive light, the power, the focus beam, the kind of halo around that focus beam, I found it's like the perfect mix for what I like to do. And what I like to do is, I've already mentioned this, but lobster diving is pretty much the primary use case for me to use something like this. So it has enough of a focus ring in the center here, which is what I want. And then this kind of larger halo around here. I don't want a massive kind of coverage area with illumination all throughout. And that's key to me for lobster diving, is because this center stronger beam, you probably, if you watch my videos, you know where I'm going with this. Lobsters are very sensitive to this, and they're not as sensitive over here. And what I'll do if I'm approaching a lobster, I might do this from the top, but I'll slowly take it away from the lobster and just use that residual light from that beam to eventually, hopefully, grab it. So I found the beam kind of pattern totally up my alley. Size-wise, I mentioned this earlier. When I first saw it, I was like, great. I love a smaller light, powerful, and it lasts a good amount of time. But I found for my hand size, it's just awkward enough where I usually am covering the power button. And when I say covering, of course you have to press it, but it's not, I have to scoot my hand back a little bit to be comfortable and then eventually press. So when I grab it, it's like this, and then I will scoot it back and then eventually do it. Because when I'm doing this during the day perhaps, and I want to mark my hole with my light, I'll leave it down there with my float line attached. I got this idea from Peter from Spear with X. He's pretty awesome setup that I've been running for a while. I leave it down there and I pick up the light to shine into the hole again. I'll usually do this, and then I'll have to like fidget back a little bit and then eventually turn it on. And that leads me to turning it on. This is a little bit different. I'm sure you found out by now. The operations is not just press it and the light turns on, press it, laser turns on. Double tap is the light, on and off. So that's a little bit different. It took me a little bit to get used to. I was a little frustrated at first, but I guess I kind of expected it because it's so different from my usual operations, which is just click it on, click it off, or click it on, and then you kind of go through the modes. It has different modes. But for this one, it's just double click and it's on. And I've gotten a lot used to it. This is my primary light now. I love the laser pointer. Gotten used to the size. I wish it was a tad bit bigger, and that's just purely, it's not even that big of a deal. Just something small I would nitpick. But overall construction, I've had OrcaTorch products for, and they're not paying me to say this, a handful of years now, and every single one of them has lasted. Even the ones with the twist function that I'm very skeptical about still, because you hear kind of like some grinding from time to time, just because like sand or whatever gets in there, it grinds a little bit. And this is not just the case for OrcaTorch, it's for other twisty products or twist knobs things. Not a huge fan, but they all have held up extremely well. And I really enjoy the batteries having the charger built in. I don't like bringing around those clunky chargers. So my personal recommendation, I think at the recording of this video, this dive light goes for around $150, which is, I understand it's not like a cheap light. It's kind of touching or nibbling at expensive, especially for the spearfishing community. Scuba, I know it's a totally different world. But for scuba, I haven't scuba dove, is that right? But scuba dove. But I would say this is a great choice. It's small, compact, has a lot of power, and I would say build quality is pretty nice. And for you spear fishermen, you lobster divers, I'm gonna say this is a high consideration. The reason why I don't recommend it all the way is the price point. It's quite a bit for, I don't want to say what you get because I think it's justified, but if you don't need that laser function, you can get similar lights from OrcaTorch or other brands that accomplish more or less what this package does without that laser, without having to pay the extra money for the laser. So if you're not going to use it, or you don't think you're going to use it, just save the money and grab something similar. But I would say highly consider this if you think you can use the laser, and if you're definitely going to use the light, just know that you're going to be a little frustrated probably at first getting used to that double click function. So this is the OrcaTorch D570 GL. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Stick around, see if you can win one. All right, you stuck around to the end of the video, and this is how you win one. In the link in the description below, you are going to click on that Instagram post. I'm going to be giving away this light right here with in the case and everything. And all you have to do is follow Dive Spear Eat, tag 3 friends into one comment, and be sure to like it. So that's all you need to do. And then a winner will be picked, and then I will ship it out to you. But here you go. That's the OrcaTorch. See you on the next one.